Welcome, everybody, to week 1 of the Reddit League, season 2. Calamity, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing great. I have been waiting for this for over a month now. We finally get into the real thing. Time to really show what you're made of. So, yeah, I'm really excited, especially after playing all the preseason. So, yeah, so we have today a Division 1 matchup, the top division, and both of these two competitors are newcomers to the division, so they'll both be looking for a win. We have from Switzerland, we have Schludy, and from France, ComteBilou. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. My horrible French pronunciation. But yeah, so Calamity, can you tell us about our two competitors today?
Yes. So as Sotomo already said, they're both newcomers to Reddit League. Schludy finished second in the preseason and ComteBilou finished third, both only dropping about 5,000 points on average over all the 5 different seeds. ComteBilou is more known like in the French community as a Twitch streamer who's got almost 2,000 followers, and he's got a YouTube channel as well with 26,000 subscribers. I personally haven't really seen him much before on any Reddit challenges or GeoGuessr leagues. And he's got about 900 games on his account on GeoGuessr, which is about 2.5 years old. While Schludy himself has played quite a few Reddit seeds, challenges, whatever, and I've seen him in a few leagues as well. And he's played almost 2,700 games since creating his account in May 2019.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
that's quite a lot.
Yeah, so while both of these players are new to the Reddit League, I don't think you could say that either one of them is new to GeoGuessr. And I always forget how big the GeoGuessr French scene really is. There are so many YouTubers and streamers and really great content if you speak French. So definitely go and search that out. Our first week's matchup is on North Macedonia. It's a map created by Topotic, our winner from last season, who unfortunately could not join us for season 2. The average score is only 8,801, a very difficult seed. It has been played over just a little over 12,000 times and has over 1,000 locations. North Macedonia is a relatively new country, especially with that name. So it's also very small. So that kind of explains why the average score is very low. In GeoGuessr, you lose points by how far you are away from the location on the size of the map. So if it's a small country, you lose more points the further you are away. While on a world map, you can be further away and lose fewer points, if I said that correctly.
Yes, that is correct. To give a couple of numbers there, on a small map, you're usually guaranteed to get a full 5,000 points if you're, I think, 14 meters or closer. But any further away than that, and the points can drop off quickly. While on some of the bigger world maps, you can occasionally be about 180 to 190 meters away still and get full points.
Yeah, so that's quite a difference on how you can earn that ace. Very nice. So without further ado, let us get into this matchup. So right off the start, we're looking at, well, we already know the country. It's North Macedonia. So used to casting world maps, I was like, oh, this looks like Eastern Europe, but of course it is. Yeah.
There was already a flag
indeed.
there.
There's a flag right there. You can see on Schludy's view. Schludy, though, heading a little bit northeast. And ComteBilou also heading east.
They've both just gone back to the start and went the other way, so maybe they thought there wasn't going to be any more information that direction, or they wanted to go downhill, which is also something that's usually advised.
Yeah, it has something to do with just the way the clicking works in Street View. If you're going downhill, you can see further and click a little bit farther than if you're going uphill. So maybe
that as well, but also usually you'll find more information like down at the bottom rather than on top of a hill.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know if I knew that. It's a good tip for you players
Yeah.
out there. So, Calamity, in North Macedonia, what should our players be looking for in terms of clues to where exactly they are?
Since there's so much of the country's coverage is on highways or bigger roads, you usually just need to get far enough to find a sign that tells you a bigger city, and maybe even if you get lucky, the distance to it.
Yeah, okay. So but just focusing on road signs. There are a lot of town names. Whether or not they're big enough to be easily found is another question. One thing to mention with Division 1, the timer is very short, only 3 minutes. And these players are going to be moving fast. We're not going to be jumping between any screens. These rounds are going to go by really quickly. They're already down to a minute left.
I don't think either of them have found really good information yet. You can also see that neither have zoomed in on the map yet.
And as you say that, of course, ComteBilou is going to zoom in on a city. I think Schludy has seen a city or two, but very small. There's a good chance that he knows where they are, but it is also worth saying that these players have definitely practiced these maps. So,
yeah. You really need to with these kind of maps.
Definitely.
If you expect to get anything from just not practicing, you're probably
okay. With 15 seconds left, Schuldy has jumped back to the starting point. There was a shake of the head by ComteBilou. He's not too happy with his information. He has gotten back to the start as well.
I don't think either of them know fully where they are.
Oh, very, very rough. Oh, there's that quick drop off of points with distance. You can see right there. ComteBilou does get a respectable score with only 3 minutes to find where you are. 2,556 points. But Schuldy, oh man, 193. A total of 74 kilometers off. Rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, because usually I play all of the seeds before, I actually remember this round, and I think I personally went into the opposite side against my advice that I mentioned earlier, going uphill. And it took me about 2.5 to 45 minutes as well to find anything before I found a sign that said pre-lap finally. But yeah, I don't think either of them had any really good information to go off there.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that time limit, you can't be, scrolling around the map looking for something. You kind of have to either know it or just guess. And that kind of did throw a little bit of a wrench into these two's first round and their first game in Division 1. Probably looking to do a little bit better in round 2 as we get into that right now.
Another good thing that you could probably go with on these kind of small maps is just choosing a direction and going with it, because you'll eventually end up somewhere where you've got some signs.
Yeah, with the short time limit, going both directions probably is not the best use of your time. You're better just covering more distance in one direction and just hope you see a sign and go back.
Yeah, that's usually what I go for in these kinds of games.
A couple of very old signs for Schludy. Not sure he's even able to read those. He's going to head south. Oh, now rather north. It's quite a curvy road. I shouldn't look at the the compass too closely. It's going to be jumping all over the place.
ComteBilou also just a couple of seconds ago, he saw a sign, like a town entrance sign in yellow, that was just completely withered away. So yeah, those happened a couple of times, but he's found a city now.
Oh, he has found it. He is quite confident with his drop. Only a minute in, so that gives him quite a bit of time to hone in on our actual starting location.
And Schludy's found it as well.
Indeed.
I think he actually went the way towards the border with Bulgaria. I'm not sure, but he might have done.
Yeah, so both of our players do have us in the same area. They're going to be working on pinpointing exactly where that starting location is, trying to get that ever elusive ace. Even more difficult by the size of the map.
There's a lot of curves around that location, so usually you should have not too difficult of a time pinpointing there, as opposed to just having a straight.
True, true. If you can kind of like a little bit of Formula One terminology, kind of know your corners and kind of count them, you can work your way back to the starting location. Right? I went past a right turn, then into turn 2, then turn 3, and then kind of work your way from there. Can be very useful. It does seem like ComteBilou does have more like town names to work with than Schludy, but they're both doing quite well, it would appear.
ComteBilou is currently a bit too far west. I think he's underestimated how far he's gone.
It is always a hard thing to judge in Street View, is how far you have exactly moved. But our player's down to about 10 seconds left. Schludy looks like he's trying to count trees to see exactly where he is. Unfortunately, Google Maps is not that accurate. And as time will run out on him, and ComteBilou not too far behind. Oh, he's highlighted his score, so that makes it really hard to read. Anyways, Schludy with 4,989 points, a much, much better second round by him. He'll be happy with that, I believe. And yeah, you can see a little bit of shake of the head by ComteBilou. He was too far west indeed. If I'm reading that correctly, it's 4,454 points.
I think so.
Yeah, hopefully he kind of highlighted it as in frustration as he clicked. But we'll get into our next round. Yeah, so much better there.
If you look at his total score now, it should have been 445, whatever it was, 4, I think. Okay. So I think you said it correctly.
That's nice. Okay, anyways, into round 3. Here we go.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, very flat, straight road. Oh, but ComteBilou does have a city name. Usually it's always tricky for me. Sorry, it's tricky for me. There are a few plains in North Macedonia, and it's always confusing to me which plain you're in. So, they both have had some very good city signs.
I think like those little cities are usually not something I look for on the map, because you've only got 3 minutes, and the chances of finding a town that's only like 2 kilometers away aren't that good.
Yeah, the one hope they have with those is they've maybe have seen it before in a practice round, and if they can recall where it is, or where it generally is, a few seconds of skimming with some experience can pay off. But it doesn't seem like either of them actually do know where this town is. So they will be looking for some more information.
Because I've played these seeds before, I can tell you that they've both been unlucky, as in they've both gone the wrong direction. The other direction would have had a lot more information very quickly. But they might still find enough.
Schludy has seen another city sign. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, I have played my league match as well, and we're probably in the south.
I think it's not too far south. I think it's more towards the central east, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I guess it's around country, so like south. Yeah. It's a little vague, but yeah, I think Schludy right now is looking too far west. He should be looking further east, where at least ComteBilou is looking.
I think
he's worked his way too far north.
So. Yeah, exactly. I think he was looking in the right area.
Yeah, ComteBilou is really going to spend this round just skimming the map. He probably has maybe seen this before, and he's trying to remember where it was.
That could be, yeah.
And it's just not coming to him, which is unfortunate. He's only got about 30 seconds left.
That's the most frustrating thing ever in GeoGuessr. If you know where this place is, but you just can't remember.
Oh, yeah, it's just awful. Especially with that timer ticking down to just rub it in your face. Yeah. Looks like they're both going to just have to put down a marker real quick. 10 seconds left to go from both of them. They do not know where we are. It would really be unfortunate to have two bad rounds in Division 1. That's not how you want to start your league career. Oh, both very far off. But Schludy getting a slight advantage, and I mean only slight, 357 points versus ComteBilou's 64 points. We were further north than I thought as well.
Now, another useful thing in North Macedonia that, interestingly enough, neither of them have seen so far are signs that tell you're entering or exiting a municipality.
Yes, those are great signs.
North Macedonia consists of a lot of municipalities, which are relatively small, so you can usually make your way to the border of at least one of them, and they're all named after the biggest city in the municipality. So they're usually not difficult to find.
Let me... if we zoom in on Schuldy's view, now that we're paused, I believe this is his view, we can see that municipality border to the north a little bit. So if they had traveled far enough, there's one there. There's also one a bit south off a different road.
There's actually one, I think, just east of where you have your mouse. There's another one that goes through the street.
Right there as well. Yeah.
That's not the one I meant. I think you can't actually. No. I think you can't actually see it on the screen because it's a bit too small and the names aren't actually there.
Oh, does it move here maybe?
A bit further northwest, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's academic, but yeah.
The point was there's about 200-300 meters south of their starting location was one of these signs.
And that's what they missed.
Yeah.
That's a harsh decision, but that's how it goes, especially with these time limits. It's, your instinct and how far you go with that, and, can make all the difference. We're, a razor's edge dividing these two, success and failure. So, yeah. Okay, well, let me get us set up for round number 3. ComteBilou is looking more and more dejected with every round. Probably not the start he wanted. But we have to remember their scores may not be great, but you just have to win, right? This isn't a top 5 people thing. It's a 1v1, and you just have to beat your other opponent. So if he's as bad as you, it's still good enough, right?
Yeah. Problem, of course, is always that you don't know that while you're playing usually.
Exactly. You don't really know what your opponent is doing. And every time you drop points, you just shudder to think how many points your opponent might not be dropping. So, okay, well, into round number 4. Here we go. And again, this is a nice location right outside of a city. At least a town, but rather.
I think ComteBilou instantly recognized the city Pitchevo, which is, and Schludy has found it as well, which is at the eastern border.
They both know where this is. Maybe, did I? No, his map isn't paused. His video isn't paused. He's just staring at the screen. I thought I had paused him, but he was just looking for it patiently, and they have found it. So this will be a round of more pinpointing.
Definitely.
I think I've actually been at this location several times in my practice rounds.
Yeah, this city and the one north to it are locations that you get quite a lot. And they're even though they're relatively small cities, they are the only real big ones in that vicinity. So you see them on signs quite a bit as well.
Yeah. And especially with a country this small, even if you don't start in the exact same location, you might just be, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers up or down the road from it. And so you travel a bit and you start to have a little bit of deja vu of, I've been here before. So it's always nice.
Definitely happened to me a lot in practice as well.
Yeah. One of my 3 or 4 times in practices was there was a bunch of bikers under a bridge on one of the highways.
Mm.
And if I ran into it, 3 or 4 times, and I go, oh, I know where I am now, because these group of bikers hanging out,
Mm.
bicyclists, in case my English isn't quite clear, not motorbikes, but bicyclists. So with about a minute to go there, looks like Schuldy is really narrowing. He's going to guess early. Ooh, what confidence. Oh, and he clicks really quickly. Let me jump back here. He's really confident. He only gave me like 1 second to be on that screen.
He dropped like 20
There we
points on
go.
that.
Yeah, he dropped 20 points. He wasted a whole minute. Not what we like to see. ComteBilou doing a little bit of a better job of using his clock. Every second does count, especially in Division 1, the most competitive of the leagues. He is a bit too far north, but he's going to move himself closer to town here. Yes, so Schludy getting 4,980 on that. So a real on and off kind of performance from these two so far.
Something you can do in these kind of scenarios, especially when you've got
He's
ComteBilou
moved
just
us
moved
way too
himself
far
away.
south. Move us back north, friend. Oh,
Good.
Stop clicking. That's probably the best advice we can give him. There we go. He'll finish round 4 with 4,801 points. Almost 200-point drop there by ComteBilou. Anyway, sorry, Calamity, finish your thought.
So what I was saying was that, especially in these kind of situations where you've got two sort of distinct points on either end of the road, and you've got a minute or so left, what you can do is just counting steps, where you just click the arrows on your GeoGuessr game and just count how many arrows it takes to get to each point, and then estimate where you are on the map based on that.
Is there like a distance you know from each click, or?
No, but they're roughly equal. It obviously isn't always true, but if a car drives at always the same speed along a straight road, each like photo on Google Street View should be roughly equal distance to the other one. So it's probably not something that's useful if you're like half a kilometer or so away from different things, but if it's just 50 meters that way, 100 meters that way, it can give you the last edge, especially in a country where you need to be 15 meters away.
Yeah, and it might not give you the exact distance, but it could give you proportion, right?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
twice as far away from this as I am from that, so I should head just a little bit closer to the west or something.
Yeah.
If you're in a town, you can actually see buildings, so you can often count buildings, but on an open road, that kind of proportion to turnoffs can be helpful, especially if you have extra time to spare. Okay, so we know Schludy is going to jump right into this next round. Let me get to the good point in ComteBilou's video. There we go. And we're into the final round. Let's look at the total score, something I haven't talked about much. ComteBilou is actually in the lead. He is sitting at 11,875. And Schludy is sitting at 10,519, about 1,300 point lead for ComteBilou, which is actually quite surprising. I would have thought they were a little bit closer, but...
Just to interrupt you there quickly, because Schludy's already found a good sign to a town that he's also just found, which is Carbinci. Which is actually quite close to the round they had in, I think it was round 3, where they didn't find anything.
Yeah, so much better signs this time around, right outside of a small town. ComteBilou, I think, has found it as well. He's seen the signs at least. Whether or not he can find it on a map, we'll know in a bit.
Schludy at this point, I think, knows pretty much exactly where he is, bar maybe a kilometer or two, because he's seen the town exit sign of the little town he's put himself in.
Yes, that SIP German development sign is something I'm also quite familiar with. Saw it a few times. And I always knew that put me outside of that, what's it, like strip? Or
yeah, Stipp.
Stippt, yeah. City. I knew that was my landmark. If I see a German flag on a development sign, I'm by this town somewhere, right? So, but they have the city names, a little bit better information than that. But I don't know if ComteBilou has seen it. He doesn't show any indication. He is a little smug with himself. But
He's seen good signs now.
oh, and Schludy will guess again very early.
He got the 5K for that one. Very nice.
He did. Perfect. An ace. Very nice. An ace 4. Schludy to finish it off. So good, strong finish. That leaves it all for ComteBilou to do. With that ace, do you think it's enough for Schludy to make a comeback here, or?
It might be. ComteBilou only has 30 seconds left, and he seems not very confident on where exactly he is.
He's just north of the town, actually.
He knows the general area, but where he is currently is not going to give him enough points.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. 10 seconds left. I think he's even seen the town has popped up on the map because I know where to look. But that's, hindsight's 2020, or rather caster sight is 2020. I know what I'm looking for because I see it on the other person. Oh no. That last round will cost him. He'll finish with a total of 14,182 points. Actually I clicked too far. Is Schludy going to give us there? So he will make the comeback. What a round by Schludy. 15,519 to finish. Almost a complete reversal of the lead that ComteBilou had going into the round. Oh. So Calamity, your thoughts on these two's first game in Division 1? Schludy pulling out the round 5 win. He was behind almost the entire match.
Yeah, that's considering it's their first game, they did all right. It's always a lot different to play on national maps than it is to play on world maps, because the preseason only includes world maps. So this is a skill they've probably not needed to use in the preseason. But I think they've gotten unlucky on one of the rounds. And considering that, they still did all right. They're probably going to have to improve if they want to stay in Division 1 this season or for the next season. But it's a first step.
Yeah. It's not a complete disaster for either player, especially given the size of the country and the difficulty of the map to start with. But congrats to Schludy on picking up his first Division 1 win. That'll do it for today. But before we go, Calamity, who do they have next?
Schludy will play against Verdok, who finished third in Season 1. Although I have to say that he did have the lowest total score of anyone in Division 1, so he may have gotten a bit lucky in his matchups. And ComteBilou will play against Geography Challenges, or RMGG92 with his Reddit name, who's also a very, very good player, so they'll definitely have to step up a bit if they want to get any points next week.
Yeah, and I believe Geography Challenges got promoted into Division 1.
No.
No? Am I okay? Maybe not.
Chicago Geographer.
Oh, Chicago Geographer. Yeah. Okay. That was the one who was promoted. Okay, so he was in the division last year. He did finish.
He finished fifth.
Okay. So maybe with that low total score by Verdok, Schludy might be kind of hoping for a nice win there, kind of like his odds maybe. But ComteBilou though, maybe a little bit of a harder time in week 2. Next week, I believe, is Brazil. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, didn't make 2 mistakes in the same video. But yeah, we'll see you all next time in Brazil. Take care.
Bye.